What's up, everybody? It is your boy Slim, the streamer, back with another video. Smash that like button and subscribe button. So today we're going to be talking about the Meta Quest 3. Is it still worth the money in 2025 among tons of headsets that are out there? Let me just say this. All right, I had Meta Quest 3 for years, right? I just lied. I did not have it for years. I bought this thing last year. What I'm talking about. Anyway, I had the Meta Quest 3, and look, in my opinion, 2025, yes, the Meta Quest 3 is still a good product, right? It's still a good product for a number of reasons, for what it can do. The fact that you get a lot out of this headset, I will admit, for the price, is pretty good. And let's break down the reasons why. For those, and this is for guys, not the ones who already have a Quest 3. This is for the ones, I'm doing this video for the ones who never gotten into VR. I'm doing this video for the ones who's thinking about getting a Meta Quest headset but got other VR headsets. Or just for those who are just curious about VR in general, right? Now, the Meta Quest 3 is still a good product because for what it can offer. This thing can offer up a lot. I mean, a lot of things you can do for the price. Now, the current price of a Meta Quest 3 is $500 for the 512 gigabyte version. You got the Quest 3S, that's a 128 gigabyte version. You can get that on, probably maybe $300, I guess at a Walmart or whatever, Walmart or Best Buy, $300. You can get it cheaper if you go through a third party like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. You can get it a lot cheaper. But for what they offer, I will say it is a good product because, man, this thing does a lot. The fact that you can do a lot of standalone games on this thing, you don't even have to have a gaming PC. The thing is, when it comes to VR, especially on PC VR, you have to have a huge gaming rig and able to run these games. You got some people who don't believe that. They think, oh, well, it's a VR. You should be able to run any type of gaming computer. As long as the computer pretty much cuts on, you should be able to play a VR game on PC VR. That's not the case. In order to run a PC VR game through a VR headset, you're going to need a beastie computer. I'm going to be real with you. You're going to need at least recommended. You're going to need at least a you're going to need at least a 3090. Well, I'm wrong because I just typed it in. A recommended VR gaming PC needs a powerful GPU, at least an RTX 4060 with an i5 or i7 AMD Ryzen 5 or 7. So I was wrong. You're going to need at least a 4060 to be able to run a VR game on your PC. So the fact that Meta has where they have the standalone store where you can pretty much play the same VR games on PC, you can play it standalone without having no PC at all. All you need is Wi-Fi. It's pretty dope. You got headsets out here that don't require that. A lot of these VR headsets require a PC to run the games. But as far as with Meta comes into where it says, hey, you can do a standalone and you don't have to have a computer to play your games. So I will give Meta that for the fact that the barrier to entry to PC. I keep saying PC. I play a lot of PC VR games, so if you guys can hear me say PC a lot, just forgive me. But the barrier entry to VR is cheap. I will say that. The barrier entry to VR is very cheap because it's not going to cost much. Now, I understand $500 is still a lot of money, but compared to buying a $2,000 PC and a $500 headset, if you're just buying a VR headset by itself and you got internet at the house, you're good to go, right? Next, I will say, even if you have a gaming PC and you're still using a MetaQuest like me, you can hook it up to your PC through a bunch of different ways. You can use the cord, you can use the link cord, which is this. You can use your link cord and just hook it up to your MetaQuest, like here. Use the link cord to hook it up. You can do use it standalone, where you can use virtual desktop. You can use AirLink, but you got to have pretty good Wi-Fi in order to use those two. Mainly the virtual desktop. You got to have pretty good internet to run standalone wireless Wi-Fi to run your Quest through a PC. So I will give Quest Meta that. Again, the barrier to entry, I could play standalone games and I can connect it to my PC playing a variety of PC VR games. So for the money, based off the money factor for what you're paying for, you're getting an exceptional deal compared to other VR gaming titles such as the PlayStation VR 2, such as the Pimax and Big Screen Beyond and other VR headsets that are out there. I will give it to Quest because Quest gives you so much for so little, right? You know, I got to keep it real. I got to keep it real. You get a lot for what you pay for when it comes to a MetaQuest VR headset. I cannot deny that. A lot of people, you know, you're going to have people that's going to disagree. Oh, well, Meta sucks. Meta's this, Meta's that. You know, Meta's the reason why Onward on VR shut down because of Meta. You know, fuck Meta. You know, you're going to get a lot of that. But for what they offer, man, I got to keep it real. They offer a lot for so little. So I will give them that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a 100% Meta fan, because there's some things about Meta with this gaming headset VR headset that I don't particularly like. For one, the strap, right? Pause. The original strap that it comes with sucks donkey nuts. All right, the original strap is beyond terrible, man. It would slide off your head. It sucked. The original strap to the MetaQuest super sucked. So you will have to go out and buy a third-party VR head strap. This is what I got. It's called the Bobo head strap. And what I like about this particular head strap, it has a fan, right? It has a fan connected. So while you're running on your VR games and you start to sweat, you can cut the fan on and the fan will cool down your head while you're playing. That is awesome. That is awesome that they offer that. And you're going to need this. Now, this comes separate. This is the Bovo VR battery. So how this works is you connect the battery. Well, let me turn it around. You connect the battery, and the thing will cut on. Right now it's at 97%. And you plug it up, and it charges your headset while you're playing. And to cut the fan on, you just hold it. Okay, no, I cut it off, by the way. My bad. You cut it on, so you hold it. And the fan cuts on. And you can turn the fan up. You can cut the fan up as high as you want. So right now, the fans are on 100%. Let's see if you guys can hear it. The fans are on 100%. That's going to keep you super cool while you're playing your VR games. I can literally feel the air from here. I can feel the cool air coming down. I will admit, that is pretty awesome that Meta offers that. I mean, well, Meta don't offer that, but it's a third party that you can use for your VR headset. I will admit that. That is great. That is a game changer, because the reason why is when you're playing these VR games and you're sweating and you're really into it, man, it gets hot in there. So the fact that you got that fan to cool you down, Oh man, it's a lifesaver. It is a lifesaver. So, yeah, I will admit that Meta VR headset is great for those things. Now, there are some things that I don't like about Meta. I don't like the fact that I constantly have to, every time I want to play PC VR, I got to constantly redo my room scaling. I got to constantly go through Visual Desktop. Sometimes I just want to plug up to my PC and get to playing, right? But there are certain steps you got to keep going through in order to play on PC VR. Now, if you're just playing standalone, you don't have to worry about this. Hey, man, just go at it, have fun. But let's talk about standalone. Unless you get the 512 gigabyte version, right? The video games that are on the Meta store takes up a lot of space. So, Batman, for example, it's like 20 gigs. This may not sound a lot, but it is. You got 20 gigs for Batman. Hitman VR, if you want to download and play that, that's like 20 gigs. So, that's 40 gigs right there. So if you don't have the 512 gigabyte, and let's say you got the 120 gigabyte, or whatever it is, you're pretty much not going to have much room when it comes to your games. Now, the good thing about this, the 128 gigabyte. So if you only got, let's say you got the MetaQuest 3S and you got 128 gigabytes. Again, if you download games like Batman, download games like Onward, you download games like Contractor Showdown, Exfil Zone, Ghost of Deborah, you're only going to be limited to a few spaces. So at this point, the only thing you can do is uninstall a game to make room for a new game. And then if you want to go back to that old game, you got to reinstall it. Now, the good thing about that is it will save your data. I will admit that. It will save your data, but you still have to go back and forth to do that because if you don't have that much storage, you're pretty much out of luck. So that's the only way you can pretty much add more games if you're just playing standalone. So that's the downside, right? That's the downside. Now, if you got a 512 gigabyte, I mean, you should be, depends on how many games you play, you should be pretty okay. But for those who got the 128 gigabyte, yeah, you don't have that much room. Now, if you're playing on PC VR, let's talk about this. The latency, the compression, you will notice it. The compression and the latency on some of these games, it's still good. It's not bad, but you will notice it. The field of view is atrocious, but for what you're paying for is not that bad. You compare the MetaQuest to like the Pimax Crystal Lite, it's like $800, right? But you can get a MetaQuest VR with a 500 gigabyte for $500, right? So, and even cheaper on that if you can catch a sale. So, you know, it's a love and hate relationship I got with Meta because I do love this headset and I hate it at the same time. I also use the Cat VR treadmill, and to be honest with you, there's no other headset I can use the Cat VR headset with other than the MetaQuest. Now, it does say I can use the Pimax Crystal headset, but no, I'm not about to have a big-ass Pimax Crystal headset playing on my head. No, so I will give the MetaQuest the edge on that. You get a lot for what you pay for. Some things I don't like about it, I can't stand it. I be wanting to throw my headset across the freaking room, but for the most part, it's an amazing deal for what you get. But let me know what you guys think about the MetaQuest headset. Is it still worth it in 2025? I say 100% yes. Now, if you got the money to go buy the Primax Crystal Super, that's $1,800. If you got the money to buy these other VR headsets, go get it. But in my opinion, I think the Meta Quest is still great for 2025. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Meta Quest. It's your boy Slim the Streamer, and I'll catch you guys next video. I gotta go to the bathroom. Bye. Peace.